In principle, it should work. If there's damage accumulating during aging, which is like a fact, I guess, and if you repair this damage periodically, then you should be able to rejuvenate people and to maintain health indefinitely. I instantly thought that I wanted to help to hasten this development. And I thought, it would be really good to have a real longevity party. Like, I thought this would be I thought a lot of people would vote for it, because who wouldn't want to have a party who invests more money into longevity research and increases the chance for everybody to live much longer and healthier.
Wenn du so lange gesund und am Leben bleiben möchtest, wie du willst, dann wähle bei der Bundestagswahl 2025 die Partei für Verjüngungsforschung.
Felix Werth is a German biochemist, entrepreneur and political activist who founded the Party for Rejuvenation Research, a political movement dedicated to accelerating biomedical research against aging. The party's core message is unbegrenzt langes Leben für alle, unlimited long life for everyone. He's also the CEO of Fix Aging AI, a Berlin-based biotech startup that uses artificial intelligence to develop rejuvenation therapies. He holds a bachelor's degree in biochemistry and a master's of science in electrical and computer engineering from the University of Massachusetts Amherst. Felix, welcome to Levity.
Thanks for having me.
So we're both based in Berlin. Is this a hotspot for longevity?
Well, I don't know. I guess there are more longevity interested people in Berlin than elsewhere, but it's still very few. I mean, we have some meetups here and it's getting more and more. And now we also have Don't Die meetups, and we had Zeller City. And so some people of Zeller City still meet regularly here.
So it's a longevity pop-up community, you could say, right? Where people who are interested in longevity, they decided to meet up in Berlin, right? Coming from all over the world.
Yeah, that's correct. So I think it lasted like for 2 months or so. And they were living there together and doing co-working. And I think each one was working on some kind of longevity project. And the idea is just, I think if you surround yourself with like-minded people, then it's much easier to live a healthy lifestyle and work on longevity.
Yes, so we actually met at a longevity pop-up city or extended conference in California.
Oh, you met in Vitalist Bay?
Mm-hmm.
Exactly, Vitalist Bay. So how long were you in Vitalist Bay?
Just a couple of days. I think 5 days or so. I gave a talk there, and it was great.
But I mean, Patrick, you've been to Montenegro, right?
Yeah.
There was a pop-up city there.
Yeah.
And you've both been to Vitalist Bay, and Felix, you've been to Cellar City. Isn't it invigorating? I haven't been to one of these different projects. Don't you get enthusiastic, get a lot of energy meeting people that thinks like you?
Yes, of course, yeah. I mean, we had life extension meetups already in 2013 in Berlin, and I went to a couple of conferences during the years. So it's always very uplifting to meet people who have the same interest and who think like oneself, and who want to do something against aging. And
it's quite interesting that you have to go looking for and organize people who don't want to fall apart and die, get old and decrepit.
Yeah, we're a cult.
Yeah. Cult.
Yeah. Still, but,
Gathered around
hopefully.
that strange belief that it's good to be healthy and alive.
We want to live.
Yeah.
We're crazy people.
Hopefully it will become mainstream at one point.
Yeah, I mean,
we are working on that.
Yeah, you are working on that. So that's one of the reasons we wanted to talk to you here. You formed a party. So tell us a little bit about your background and how you started the party.
So my background is in engineering, and in 2012, so in the first, until 2012, I kind of put aging out of my mind, as most people do, and I didn't think about it, or I thought you couldn't do anything about it, so I just enjoyed life and didn't, try to not think about death. And in 2012, I wanted to sign up for cryonics, and I did research about cryonics, like what people I could contact, and I wanted to get involved and meet other cryonicists and also sign up. And while I was doing research, I came across a conference that was on YouTube, the Manhattan Beach Project. They had a talk about cryonics. But the conference was mainly about developing life extension therapies in the next 10 or 20 years. So this was the first time that I realized that scientists actually are working on doing something against aging and that they really have a plan how to rejuvenate people. I mean, I was, the talk that convinced me was like the talk from Aubrey de Grey. I mean, there were different scientists who presented their approach, and also Aubrey de Grey explained his damage repair approach, his SENS damage repair approach. And this instantly somehow made sense to me, and I did some research about it, and I couldn't find, or I couldn't think of something that why it shouldn't work. I mean, in principle it should work. If there's damage accumulating during aging, which is like a fact, I guess, and if you repair this damage periodically, then you should be able to rejuvenate people and to maintain health indefinitely and not die from aging. The same way you extend the life of a car, like an old-timer. Back then he regularly made this analogy with old cars, and you still have cars that are 100 years old and that run just fine, and that's because they get repaired regularly. And so this was like in March, in February or March 2012, and I instantly thought that I wanted to help to hasten this development.
Can I ask you, Felix, you said that you put away your thoughts on death and then you got interested in cryonics. That's quite a leap, right? Most people don't get interested in cryonics. They never even hear about it. So what happened to you? Why did you find that interesting? What was enticing about that?
So I was already afraid of death when I was a little child. I mean, I remember like when I was, I don't know how old I was, but maybe 8 years old or something, or maybe 10, I don't know. I was already like in the evening, like laying in my bed and crying, and my parents tried to calm me down and said, "Oh, you have your whole life in front of you, and why are you sad about death?" And so cryonics, I don't know where I heard it for the first time, but it's sometimes in the media. So sometimes I knew that there is cryonics, but like when I was a teenager, I didn't like I didn't sign up or so because I thought, yeah, I still have a lot of time. So I just knew that there is cryonics and that I wanted to do it at some point, but I didn't, I didn't do research about it much, or I didn't plan to sign up at that point. But then 2012, this 33, I thought, because I also heard that if you sign up when you're still young and healthy, then it's much cheaper than for the health insurance. So that's why I wanted to sign up then. Yeah. So yeah, and I guess
fellow cryonauts then.
Yeah. Yeah, and so when I came across this was like in February or March, and at that time I was actually working on starting a business, but I decided that I wanted to help with this because this was like so important to me. I mean, I thought if there would be even a small chance, that I don't have to die from aging, and if I contribute to it and I could increase the chance a little bit, then this would be worth my time and my energy. And if a lot of people think like that and act, then our chance will increase a lot. If everybody just thinks, the scientists, they will do it, and I don't support this, and I don't work with them, and I just wish them luck, then the chances are lower. And if a lot of people get active themselves and do something and join the movement, then our chance increases. And so I think everybody has to start with himself. So I thought, okay, I will act now and try to help. And if a lot of people think like that, then would be a good thing.
The scientist Kevin Parrott.
Yeah.
So Kevin Parrott, he has a great tagline in his bio. It says, "We are the cavalry."
Okay, yeah.
There's no cavalry coming. We have to be it. I mean, it's frightening when you start to realize that surrounding certain of these research paradigms, there are only a handful of people really working on really extending human life in a substantial way. Yeah,
it's frightening. Yeah, that there are so few people. So the first thing I thought of was just that I could become a researcher in the lab. So in Germany we have like 2 semesters in university, like summer and winter semester. And I think in America you have 3. You have like fall, summer, and but so the summer semester starts like in April. So I learned about this in February and March, and then I signed up. I immediately, like 1 or 2 weeks later, I went to university and signed up for biochemistry, basically. And before that, like 1 month before that, I would have never thought that I would ever study biochemistry, because I didn't really like biology or chemistry in school, I always liked math and physics. That's why I studied electrical engineering. So that's things I really like, but I didn't like biology. So but then there I was studying biochemistry then, starting in April, and during my studies I learned how small the field was and how little money there was in the field, and how few people, and so I thought that I could contribute more in doing public outreach and trying to grow the movement, like that I could help more than than like working in the lab as just one researcher, just one more researcher in the lab. So and that's in 2000. Yeah, so at that time I tried to connect with other like-minded people, and I joined a lot of Facebook groups. And there was one Facebook group, the Longevity Party, and I thought, it would be really good to have a real longevity party. Like, I thought like this would be I thought a lot of people would vote for it, because who wouldn't want to have a party who invests more money into longevity research and increases the chance for everybody to live much longer and healthier. And so I tried to convince other people to work with me on that party, but I couldn't find anybody. They all thought it's a bad idea and that it wouldn't work. And
what did they say?
Myself.
I'm sorry, Felix. What did they say?
Well, different things, everybody is different, but that politics, that's not a good way, and it wouldn't work, and I don't know. I found like 3 friends that were willing to create the party with me together, because you cannot create a party alone. You have to have at least 3 people. So in the beginning of 2015, in January 2015, we founded the party. Like, we were 4 founding members, and membership was free, and I thought that the party would really grow very fast. But it was in the beginning, it wasn't like that. It grew slowly, and it was much more difficult than I would have thought.
Were you the driving enthusiast here? Did you do most of the work in the beginning?
Yeah, because I did all the paperwork and everything that needed to be done, all the organizational stuff, and there was also someone who helped me with the website, so he did a lot of work there, was creating the website, and I had some help, of course, but most of the work, the paperwork and so on, I did,
And so the name is on the ballot. What was did you change the name of the party?
Mm-hmm. So at the start we named it Party for Health Research, because we thought everybody is for health, and if you rejuvenate people, that's also keeps their health intact when they get old. So health research would be a good name. It's also like more mainstream, Nobody is against health research. A lot of people are against rejuvenation research, but not against health research. And so we changed our strategy a couple of 2 times during the history of the party. So we started with like Party for Health Research, and we had Orbit Gray in our advisory board at the beginning, and we promoted the repair approach, and we talked about like solutions for problems for overpopulation and so on that come up when you talk about extending life. But so we made the experience that journalists, they concentrate on those problems. They don't want to hear our good solutions, like how everybody could be healthy much longer. They just asked about the problems, like what if, like, what about overpopulation and all the other problems. And so we decided to do a strategy change and just talk about health and health extension, and don't talk about the life extension aspect so much. And so that has had as a consequence that we didn't get so much opposition. Like almost everybody liked it. If we would ask, so prior to the elections, we always have to collect a lot of signatures for being allowed to participate in the election. So we have to talk to a lot of people and ask them for a signature. And when we had this strategy with this health span extension, it was much easier to collect those signatures because, yeah, we just said, okay, we want more research for doing something against age-related diseases. I mean, we still had the repair approach on our website. We still communicated it. But I think a lot of people didn't, because we didn't tell them that it's about living for thousands of years, they didn't make this connection, I think. They just said, okay, you have this repair approach and you want to prevent Alzheimer and cancer with that. And yeah, and that's good because, yeah, we want to do something against those diseases. But that this would also have as a consequence that people would live much longer. I think most people didn't realize it because we didn't point it out. I mean,
the terrible side effect.
Yeah, for a lot of people that is a terrible side effect.
Felix, so you are, I suppose, very, very familiar with all the objections that people have. What have you learned from interacting with people and how to approach this in a way that makes sense for a political party?
So I talked to like hundreds of thousands of people, I think, because we participated in 24 elections already. And for each election, so for 22 of them, we had to collect those signatures. And it's usually between 1,000 and 2,000 signatures. But yeah, of course, you have to ask a lot more people because not everybody signs, or very few people sign. So you have to approach a lot of people. And everybody is different, so you cannot generalize there, like how people react or how people think about that. But from my experience, even if you have good, I think the main problem is that people don't want to think about death or they want to deny death and want to make themselves believe that aging and death from aging is a good thing, because otherwise we would get problems. So even if you have good counter arguments, most people don't buy them or they don't listen to them, or it's very rarely that somebody has a counter argument that has an argument against it, and then you give good counter arguments, and then the person says, "Oh, you are right. I see it." And if it's like, it makes sense now to me. I mean, it just doesn't happen normally. People are still against it, If you.
Hopefully it can happen down the road. You give people an idea and now it exists at least as a possibility in their mind. Because a lot of people, as you say, they don't even think about it. But when you present it to them, now it can work in them.
Right. That's also what I think, that you have to confront the subject to people many times until they switch their mind. So, yeah. So that's one thing I learned. So it's a good thing to do public outreach and do advocacy, and you shouldn't get discouraged if people not immediately get it. Basically, you just it's still valuable what you do if you do public outreach, even if people don't get it, because if they hear it a lot of times, then it's more likely that at some point they get it more.
Do you have any sense of age groups here? Because I get the sense that it's easier with younger generations.
Yeah, I mean, I got sometimes when collecting signatures, and then when I was asking older people or old people, they said, "Oh, okay, it's not for me anymore, you know, but I will sign for my kids or my grandchildren." Of course, but a lot of old people also said, "Oh, it's not going to be for me anymore, so I'm not going to sign." And then you think, you know, why don't you sign for your kids or your grandchildren? But of course, they're probably right? If you ask somebody who is already 80 years old and is in a bad health condition, then it's very likely not going to be developed in time for them. Yeah, that's difficult. But they would still have the option to do chronics, right? That's why I also think that chronics is so important. It's even more important right now because it's just a matter of time until we develop rejuvenation medicine. And yeah, for people who have to die before we have those medicines, it's probably even more important psychologically to have this chronics back up. Because if scientists say, we cure aging in 10 years and then in 5 years you get a cancer diagnosis or you get too old and have to die, you know, then you are basically the last. Yeah, if you would have lived like 5 years longer, you would have survived basically.
So we talked about how you started out talking about health and the name of the party was health related and so on. But then you pivoted. Despite people being more on board with it, you still wanted to change your strategy and the name and all that. Can you tell us about that and what made that happen?
Yes, so most people that we talked to weren't against it, but we also had very little support. So we thought, okay, if we just promote basically doing something against age-related diseases, then we would get more support from people who have age-related diseases or who have relatives who have age-related diseases, but that didn't happen. Basically, we started with rejuvenation and living longer, and then of course people don't make this connection and they don't support us. But we thought if we talk about preventing age-related diseases or even curing age-related diseases, then we would get much more support, but that didn't happen. We also didn't get many votes. I don't know why. I mean, it would also be speculation. And everybody is different, so maybe people thought, okay, the big parties already invest in this field enough money, so we don't need another party for that, or. Yeah, and one reason I think is also because we were or at the time I thought that we were, the main reason would be that we were so unknown. So we already had some good results. So in 3 of the state elections, we had 0.5% of the votes. That was among the small parties, that was already a really good result. I mean, we have the big parties that are in parliament, and then in state elections, they're usually around 10 to maybe up to 20 small parties who just get a fraction of a percentage of the votes. And 0.5%, that was already very good among those small parties. But but if you ask people on the street, like about our parties, like most people didn't know about our party. So I thought, okay, so almost nobody knows about us, and we already got 0.5% of the votes. So if a lot of people know about us, then we would get maybe 5% of the votes, you know. I mean, yeah, if like only 10% of the people know about us, you know, and we get 0.5% of the votes, and then if everybody knows about us, we should get 5%. If 10 times more people know about us, we should get 10 times more votes. But so the idea was just to, because also the media wasn't very interested in health research and preventing cancer and so on, because it wasn't just they weren't interested much in it. So with the second strategy change, we wanted to be a more provocative and like say that it's about living for thousands of years, because otherwise people wouldn't get it. They don't make the connections, as I said. So so that was the idea, and it also worked in the way that the media was much more interested in this, and much more people. We got known much faster, because our election posters, if we hang up like an election poster before, like more research against diseases like Alzheimer, cancer, and so on, nobody really talked about them or shared pictures of them in their social media. So, but after the strategy change, when we had on our posters like, where do you want to live in 800 years, or unlimited lifespan for everybody, a lot of people talked about those posters and took pictures of them, shared them on their social media, and a lot of media articles were written about it. And so that was, I mean, most of the people made kind of fun of them, or thought they are strange or something. They didn't see the scientific background, or
When did you make this pivot?
23, I think, 2023.
Okay, 2 years ago.
Posters were a big part of your strategy.
Yes, one big point. Yeah. So prior to the elections, we are allowed to hang up election posters for free. So we just so all parties that participate in the election can, like 6 or 8 weeks, depending on the city, can hang up election posters. And a poster is very inexpensive. It's maybe $4 per poster. And so we try to hang them up in very crowded places, like at stations, like public transport stations, or in the inner city, in shopping streets, where a lot of people could see them, because we always had the problem that we had very little money to buy those posters. I mean, we could have, we could have hang up much more posters if we would have had the money to buy them. But we still managed to like hang up different elections, different amounts. But for example, for the European election, we hang up, I think we had like around 7,000 posters. And before that, we, like in elections where we had a lot of posters, we had around 1,000 posters. But we tried to place them really in places where they get seen by many people. And so I think they had a big effect already, even though we didn't hang up that many posters.
That's still real money. So do you get some funding where do you get funding for this party? Is there any public money?
Public money. So party members donated for this. public money, for public money, you need in state elections at least 1% of the votes. Then you get public money. Or in the federal or European elections, where we also participated, you need 0.5% of the votes. So we participated in 2 European elections and in 3 federal elections, and then halt in 17 state elections. And yeah, so unfortunately we never got any public funding.
Is that one of the benefits then of a political strategy, that at a certain point you can actually get funding, public money for funding our ideas?
Yeah, maybe it would help, but so with the public funding, even if you get like 1% of the vote and you get public funding, you only get the donations that you get as a party, they double it. So if you get 2,000 euro donations, you would only get 2,000 euro public funding. And if you get like 500,000 donations, 500,000 euro, you would get 500,000 euro public funding. So they always double it basically. So since we got very few donations, it wouldn't have been that much money, the public funding. It would have helped, you know, we would have had twice as much money, but it wouldn't be the main benefit of being a political party. No, I think so. There are several reasons why it's a good strategy, I think, to have a political party. So one thing are the posters, and that the media is interested in parties that participate in the election, but you also give people an additional option to support this cause, because so they can vote for the party or they can become a party member. So membership is free. So if you don't have the party, you wouldn't get that support of people who think it's a good idea, but they don't want to invest time or money into it, so their support wouldn't show. But if you have this party and you participate in the election, those people can show their support and can show others how important this is to them by voting for the party. And you as a party, you can, prior to the election, you also get free airtime for your election commercials in TV and radio. You reach a lot of people there, because sometimes you get like airtime at prime time in the evening, and you have then millions of people who watch your election video, which is usually like 90 seconds long, or sometimes it's only 60 seconds, but most of the time it's 90 seconds. So you can really address a lot of people that normally wouldn't get your message. Like even if you hang up the posters in the shopping streets in the city, then the people who live in the countryside, they don't see those posters. You don't reach them. But if you are on TV, then a lot of people see it that wouldn't see it otherwise.
So you produced a video, right? Then?
Yeah, several of them.
Yeah.
I mean, usually for every election we produce a new video. Yeah.
Maybe we could show that, Patrick.
That's exactly what I thought. Felix, is it okay if we show them?
Yeah, and which one? Yeah, you of course.
All of them.
You probably all of them.
So here we go. I don't know if I get the sound now, but maybe Felix, you can comment on it.
Yeah, so it just said that aging is the main cause of death worldwide. Yeah, so idea is that a scientist or a doctor plays chess against death.
Hopp, hopp. Spiel.
Yeah, in the original it's Max von Sydow, and he's a knight, but here we have the scientist instead, updated for
Tod ist technisch lösbar
2020s.
und Menschen können tausende Jahre lang gesund leben. Die Technologie dafür steht in den Startlöchern. Und wir auch. Wir stehen für Wissenschaft, Fortschritt, Selbstbestimmung, Rationalität, das schiere Leben.
So the English translation is in the underneath.
Yeah.
Wähle uns.
Oh,
Die Partei für schulmedizinische Verjüngungsforschung. Bei der Europawahl 2024.
okay, so death took a real beating there.
Yeah, so it's very violent on purpose. Yeah, so the idea was that violence gets attention and that we would get attention with that.
And you did.
We did get a lot of attention, yeah.
So you're about to become even more famous in Germany through a TV show.
Yeah, so a TV show with about 2 million viewers. They're doing a 10-minute report on my longevity activities. Yeah, so this will come out. So the filming is done, was done recently, or we're still doing some filming, and the show comes out next year.
What other entrepreneurial activities have you engaged in?
So I published a dating website, longevity.dating. It's a dating website for people who are interested in life extension, or also for biohackers, vitalists, cryonicists. And it's worldwide. People can or supposed to sign up, and they are looking for a partner and are interested in these areas. And yeah, you can you can specify your interests on your profile there, and you can also search by criteria like how long people want to live, or what kind of lifestyle they have, or something like, or what they're doing regarding to biohacking or so on.
What would be an ideal profile for you?
A woman plus minus 10 years, so I'm 47 now, and interested in life extension.
This episode of Levity is brought to you by Vitalism Foundation.
Vitalism Foundation is a non-profit with a revolutionary mission to achieve unlimited lifespans in peak health.
It's a community of action driven by vitalism, a new moral philosophy whose first tenet is that life and health are good, death is humanity's core problem, and aging its primary agent. They're one of the few groups that truly understand aging as the emergency that it is.
Vitalism's goal is nothing short of monumental: to allocate 1% of global GDP to this project. It's ambitious, but it's exactly what's needed to tackle aging head-on.
As a member of Vitalism, you'll get access to a private community, exclusive content, and invites to special conferences. Plus, you'll receive insider prices on longevity wellness services from Vitalism's mission-aligned partners.
But more than that, you will be supporting a mission that's too important to leave to others to tackle.
So, you should really join us. Follow the link in the description below. For a limited time, you get 30% off forever. Just use the promo code LEVITY at checkout.
Again, that's 30% off forever with the promo code LEVITY. Let's make a difference together.
The way that you do elections in Germany could get you quite a lot of free attention, right? You can do TV spots, you can put up posters and so on. I'm not actually sure how that works in Sweden, but aside from that, would you recommend someone? I mean, you must have fought a lot, worked a lot to do what you do with this. Would you recommend someone to start a party in Sweden?
Yes. Yeah. Otherwise, I wouldn't have done it if I would think that it's not. I mean, if I could have thought of a way where I could help the movement better and more effectively, I would have switched. But I couldn't think of anything better, even though I've thought about it a lot, you know. I mean, it wasn't fun to do this political work. And I wasn't good in it, you know. It wasn't fun. I wasn't good in it. So, but I did it anyway because I thought it's the best thing I could do. I could have personally, I could have the most impact with that, because you really, with very small resources, you can really reach a lot of millions of people. Mm. And yeah, if you would have had even a little bit more resources, we could have reached much more. But yeah, unfortunately, very few people, thought the same way and helped with it, you know, and actively helped with it, like with collecting signatures or with election campaigns. And so there were always only a very few people who worked there. Yeah.
It's interesting. I guess Andrew Steele, the author of Ageless, is also in Berlin, lives in Berlin, and he's made kind of the same conclusion, I guess, that what we need is to change policy, to change minds. Do you have any contact with him, to exchange ideas, or?
I talked to him at a conference at least once. Yeah. But it's also not clear. So we had this very provocative strategy now, and some people think that we harm the movement with that, because it kind of a lot of people think it's now it's a joke. You know, we a lot of time we get asked, is this a satirical, you know, poster? So when we say, this is life extension with, so I'm not really sure. I mean, from my point of view, it's good to get attention, and the people. I mean, on our website we explain the science behind it. So if people get to know about it and become interested, they could read on our website. We link all the solid science behind it, the science report, and also explain it on our website, so they could see that it's not a joke. It's real science behind it. But the strategy was to make it provocative, to reach a lot of people, and some people from the community think that it's damaging. So I don't think it is damaging, but I don't. Otherwise, I wouldn't have done it. I still don't think it's damaging. But you see, because I also think you need. I mean, we need some kind of Apollo project, right, against aging. I mean, that if we want to have it, so from my point of view, we only have a chance with the damage repair approach, and there are thousands of different damages that need to be repaired, and only a few groups are working on some of those damages. So there need to be a lot more scientists working to implement the damage repair approach. We don't need to understand aging better or something. We just need to implement the damage repair approach. But that is so much work. So many different therapies have to be developed that we need much more research groups or development groups that take different damages and develop a therapy against them. And yeah, so we need and if you don't tell people that it's about living for thousands of years, I don't think they get excited enough to put that much money into it, or to demand from their government that they put, I don't know, maybe 10% or so of its budget into it. If you just say that it's about living healthier for a couple of more years, then from my experience, a lot of people think, they can do it with living healthy, you know, with sports, sleep, exercise, diet, and so on.
Yeah, and that's true, right? That's actually what's true. You can do that.
Yeah, but then they don't demand an Apollo project against against aging,
right.
You know. If they, yeah, and nowadays a lot of the medicine doesn't work much, and it has a lot of side effects. So a lot of people really think that this is going to be the same way. So why, if I live healthy, why should I take medicine that extends my life? I just live healthy. I don't want to take medicine, you know. And if you just talk about healthy aging and living to 120 or something, because I get this argument a lot from people that say, you can't tell people that it's about living for thousands of years because they cannot imagine it. You have to start small. You have to tell them that it's about living to 120 or 150 because they could imagine it, and then it's easier for them to support that, you know. But if you just tell it's about living to 120, because a healthy person doesn't die with 120. So if you tell them it's about living to 120, then they imagine somebody who looks like 120, because the person would die then with 120, right? So the person would still be sick with 120. And actually it's about, rejuvenating people, and so that they look like they were looking at in their teenage years, like young adults with 120. That's the goal. But yeah, if you don't say this concretely to people, then they don't get it, they don't understand it, and I think then you will also not get the support that is needed. I mean, you will get some support, of course, if you say you want to prevent age-related disease and extend healthy life, but you will not get an Apollo project. You will get some support, and you will not get so many rejections from people and counter-arguments. And everybody, I mean, that's my experience. And people say, oh yeah, that's great, and so, but yeah, you also don't get the necessary support.
And when you say thousands of years, it sounds for some people outlandish, but that's actually based on the idea, I guess, that if we were to defeat aging and we were to be, say, biologically in our, let's say, 20s, it's just statistics, right? The risk of dying when you are at that age is actually 1 in maybe 3,000 or so.
Risk of death would stay the same. Then it's like the average lifespan. If you don't die of aging anymore, the average lifespan would be, I think, 2,000 something years. It depends. People calculate that differently. Some calculate it as 1,000 something. Some
yeah. I'm just trying to be, because sometimes people hear thousands of years and think he's just coming up with some number, but that's not actually true, right?
Yeah, that's correct. And also, probably the world will become more safe, so maybe that will get extended much more. You know, with self-driving cars, for example, you don't get car accidents anymore.
So, what is the optimal outcome, do you think, for the party?
Well, the most optimal outcome would have been if we would have gotten more votes and we would have gotten in parliament, and then would have gotten the chance to decide what could be done with the budget, you know, with the federal budget, and we could have put you know, we could have formed a coalition with another party to government coalition, and yeah, so this would have been the most optimal outcome, but it's didn't happen. And but I think it's still not, our effort was still not wasted, because we did a lot of public outreach still. So I mean, I also would continue to do that, because I still think it would be the most impactful thing I could do for the movement. But I basically stopped 1.5 years ago, or 1 year ago, working for the party, because it was too much stress for me to get all those rejections from people. Because basically, if you collect signatures, most people are annoyed by you, that you approach them, you know, with this ridiculous thing, you know, that you want to extend life, and now you need their signature, and they just don't want to talk to you. They are annoyed. And even though I tried to save their life, you know, I mean, I approach them, with my actions, I want to save their life, and they just treat me like I'm just somebody who annoys them, you know. And this was like psychologically for me very difficult, and I think very unhealthy to do this over and over again for years. And so there are people who collected signatures for the party who didn't mind, who collected signatures, got all those rejections, and they just didn't affect them psychologically. But for me, I really felt that it was not good for my health.
How did you approach that? What changed for you then when you realized that?
I thought that with my actions in the party, I could hasten the development of rejuvenation medicine, and that maybe if I live a little bit unhealthy during those years, because so that I wouldn't shorten, that I would, through my actions, I would extend my life more than I would shorten it with my unhealthy lifestyle, with the stress and maybe unhealthy food while being on the road or something. But I think that I shorten my life more with those unhealthy, with the stress, and so that then I could extend it with my actions. Because even though it's good to do this advocacy and to let more people know about it, and I still think it's the best thing a single person could do, to do advocacy and try to grow the movement. A single person could have the most impact, and contribute most to them. It's still, if it's stressful to you, then you probably shorten your life more than you increase the chance with your actions, and then it doesn't make sense for me anymore, because I only did that because I wanted to increase my personal chance. Also, I mean, that was the main reason why I did this, because I wanted to increase my personal chance of reaching longevity escape velocity. Of course, I also want it for everybody else, but if it's only for everybody else and not for myself, if I decrease my chance and increase the chance for others, I still wouldn't do it. Because, I mean, why should I? I want to survive myself, you know.
Do you have anyone on the inside of German establishment, political or otherwise, who shares the longevity outlook?
I don't know. Not. I think not in government, as far as I know.
But can I ask you, Felix, because there was some attention to Germany recently with the National Academy of Sciences, Leopoldina. and their policy paper
Yeah, that was very
that
good,
should
very
recognize
helpful.
aging as a disease.
Mhm.
Were you involved in that somehow?
No, not at
No.
all. But
Why do you think Germany was the country to approach and maybe adopt a policy like that?
as far as I know, it's not yet adopted, right? I mean,
Okay.
it's just so the Leopoldina they suggested that the government puts more money into it, but it's not clear yet if the government acts on it, right?
Yeah.
They just advise the government. It's like this scientific advisory committee from the government, as far as I know. But yeah, as far as but it only came out recently. I think 1 month ago or so. So we will see if what the government does. So there are already two aging research institutes in Germany, like the Max Planck Institute for Aging Research and the Leibniz Institute for Aging Research. So, and I did a couple of petitions already to the German government demanding more research money, and I got a very detailed rejection letter basically for those. I was really astonished, like several pages rejection letter where they listed all the things they are doing already, and yeah, in their minds they are already doing enough against aging. So
Yeah, we've heard that before.
You often hear about Michael Greve, or the German billionaire, that he's interested. I think his name is Michael Greve, right?
mm-hmm.
Does he have any influence, or what is he up to?
I don't know. I mean, I haven't talked to him for a long time now. So he organized a couple of conferences in Berlin that were very constructive, because it brought all the relevant aging research, or a lot of relevant aging researchers together. Like there were like over 500 attendees, I think. So really huge conferences in Berlin. Yeah, so that was very helpful. And back in 2013, I think he also organized meetups in Berlin, like life extension meetups, where I met like-minded people for the first time in person. Before that, I only met people on the internet. Yeah, so that was very helpful.
Oh, he hasn't taken an interest in the party.
So I've talked to him back to when I founded the party, or when I planned to found the party, at those life extension meetups. And from my understanding is that he's not interested in politics. And that's a general thing that a lot of people who support this cause in general, but they don't want to get involved into politics. Also, like professors, for example, in Germany, they need to stay like politically neutral. They cannot associate with some political party, you know. So that's one difficult thing of being a political party. Yeah, because some people just don't want to get involved into politics.
So perhaps that's a good pivot to hear about your entrepreneurship.
Yeah, so I'm doing now something again that I like doing, programming. and not like, yeah, talking to strangers on the street anymore. Yeah, so the idea is basically to use the newest AI tools to implement rejuvenation medicine. Concretely to develop, so with my startup, I want to develop enzymes that break down damage inside cells. So I would basically, the idea is to develop pipeline where you can basically, you pick out a harmful bond that is created during aging and that cannot be broken down by the repair system of the body. And then you develop an enzyme, either de novo, an enzyme that doesn't exist yet in nature, or you try to find a similar enzyme in some other organism in the protein database, and you configure it so that it also works in humans. And yeah, so that's the idea, to develop enzymes that can, to develop basically parts of the damage repair approach, and using the newest AI tools to do that. And I'm currently basically looking for funding. So I already applied for a couple of grants. So far, not successfully. I haven't approached VCs yet. And yeah, so the idea, so I would need funding so that I could work on it full time, because right now I'm working as a freelance programmer just to pay my bills. So that takes a lot of time. So I don't have much time to put in my startup and work on aging anymore, unfortunately. And also so that I would be able to hire people to make, to hasten this.
Many people in biotech, they kind of go for, they categorize themselves as, we're working in this area, in the hallmarks of aging, for example. How do you view that? Or if you take the 7 types of stuff that kills you, that SENS, that Aubrey originated, where do you see yourself working here?
I want to break down damage inside the cell. So that is one of the 7 pillars of I mean, the categories of the SENS approach, right?
Yeah. So the lysosome, essentially,
either inside the lysosome or outside the lysosome. But
yeah.
So I picked inside the cells because, from my understanding, as of now, it's easier regarding the immune rejection. Because if you try to basically break down damage outside the cell with enzymes, then those new enzymes get detected by your immune system much easier, and then you get an immune response. You basically get inflammation. The immune system kills those foreign proteins or enzymes, and yeah, then it doesn't work, you know.
Even as a one-person researcher, together with AI, you're much more empowered now than you were like 10 years ago, right?
Yeah. Or even 1 year ago, you know. There's so much progress in AI, and that's also one of the ideas, that maybe the current AI tools are not there yet, but maybe in 3 months or so, a new AI tool comes out for enzyme creation, you know, and then that you are then like ready to apply that to anti-aging research. Because, yeah, very few people apply it in that area, you know. Those AI tools are applied in a lot of areas, but very few people apply them to aging research. so that's why I also think that this recent hackathon was such a great idea, and I hope they will continue doing that. I don't know if you have heard of the hackathon.
The hack aging thing?
Yeah, the hack aging AI.
Yeah.
Agentic AI against aging, I think was the name. And my team was even among the winners in this hackathon. So I participated there, and we actually...
Tell me how you participated.
So there were like different tracks. I think there were 8 tracks with different tasks. And we participated there with the track sequence to function. So basically the challenge was to extract all the knowledge from literature that AI could find, basically, to write up an article that summarizes basically for a certain protein the sequence changes, how sequence changes would lead to function changes regarding longevity. So if you have like a gene ApoE, and then you have ApoE4 that reduces your longevity, and if you have ApoE2 that extends your lifespan statistically, you know. And to do that for any protein basically that you put into this app. And
right.
So our solution was first scrape all the papers to a protein that you want to look at, and then have an AI agent who extracts the knowledge out of those papers. Because if you have like over 100,000 papers, it would take you a long time to go over all of them, you know, without the help of a computer or of AI. And now it goes very fast. It analyzes all those 100,000s of papers and then gives you a 1-page or 2-page report about the sequence to function.
Right. So in a similar vein, I guess, to AlphaFold, where they predict structure, here you would predict protein longevity.
Yeah. So I mean so from structure you get the function, right?
Yeah.
So the structure determines the function, but so the task was not to first determine the structure and then the function, but to go directly from sequence change to function, and that right. You can just do it by analyzing the papers, right? Because the papers also describe the function changes when you change some sequence, if you introduce some mutations. So for my project, for my startup, it would be more important to look at the structure, of course, to really examine the structure and then build an enzyme for a specific substrate that really fits well and can cleave a bond. But unfortunately, that wasn't a task in the hackathon. So this task was the closest to my my interest. That
still sounds very useful.
So I learned a lot there. I learned how to program a rack system and how to program AI agents. Yeah, I learned a lot there.
What was the team you were part of?
So our name was West Coast Vectors. So we were 4 people, and I had a great team. So we had regular team meetings and exchanged ideas, and divided the tasks. So it was about 2 weeks, the duration of the hackathon. Yeah. So I would have wished that we would have had more time, so we could have had implemented more. But yeah, we still got a working app.
What AI tools do you use now to help you?
So I'm working with Cursor AI ED and with ChatGPT and Claude, basically.
Yeah.
Claude Sonnet. I use them to help me with programming. I don't do vibe coding, but they're still very useful even if you don't do vibe coding. You still have to go over basically every line of code and see if it makes sense or if it's necessary or if it introduces some behavior that you don't want. But yeah, it's very useful to have.
Have you thought about pursuing like a decentralized science approach? I know that some people now, they, for example, try molecules and get funding on platforms like Pump Science, for example, to do experiments.
I haven't tried it yet, or I haven't looked into it yet. So yeah, but I could I would be interested in doing that. So
you should reach out to Christer Kauppi. Do you know him?
I've heard of that name,
he runs the Rapamycin Longevity Lab. He's based in Sweden as well. Okay. I could introduce you to, because he's been doing quite well with. Actually been able to fund his experiments through decentralized science. It's been quite successful. So, and he knows a lot more about that than I do. So I could connect you if you like.
Okay, yeah, I would like to. Yeah, I think one problem. One problem is because it's really. I mean, the proposition is that my startup wants to use AI to develop rejuvenation medicine, right? So it's not very concrete, because the concrete things I want to basically, the plan is to use AI to come up with the more concrete things,
right?
And so if some investor just is interested, not in curing aging, but just to make money or so, it's maybe too risky for them. And even if it would work if we would develop like a repair an enzyme that can break down one damage in the cell, like one specific bond, there are still thousands of other damages in the cell, thousands of others. So just one of those repair therapy probably wouldn't see anything. And so even if it would work perfectly, because there's so much damage, when you get all different damages. So you would probably need to implement thousands of different therapies and apply them all at once, and only together they will have this effect. So if you just implement one of them, that's probably also one reason why so few people are working on that. Because it's also becomes very difficult to go through clinical trials, of course, if you don't if you don't see an effect with just one therapy alone.
Well, of course, if you're going to do 1,000 interventions, that would be extremely serious. So I guess we need some way to make it more tractable.
Well, the thousands of interventions, my startup wouldn't do all of them. My startup would maybe make one or two of them, right?
Yeah.
I just want to contribute to the development with my startup. So others would have to work on the other. I mean, there are already a lot, or I mean, some companies who are working on some kind of damage. I mean, there's this agingbiotech.info website where there's a list of all the companies that exist in the space. And so there are already, I think, like over 200 companies listed who are working on some kind of damage repair.
Right, and you have the big trends like partial reprogramming, for example. You have some companies working on DNA damage. You have senolytic companies and so on. I guess what do you think your most likely category, if you will, would be here? Do you have any hunch on what you would be working on?
I want to work on the damage inside the cell to
So
break it down
yeah.
with enzymes. So that's a category. But I not because I think it would have the most impact, or I think so the reason why I want to work on this category is because I think it's not many people are working on that already. So I looked at agingbiotech.info at the companies, and I think there are only like five companies who are working on damage removal inside the cell, I think. So there are very few groups who are working on this category.
Right.
So I think I could probably have the most impact there.
And
also
your...
I need something that I can, like right now, that I can do on the computer and together with AI, and I don't know, to develop a senolytic you could probably also develop it on the computer, but I just decided I wanted to create enzymes that break down damage.
Yeah, I think that's important that we tackle all of the different problems and not get too focused on one big idea. Right.
That's correct, and that's why it's also great that so many others are working on others' problems. Yeah.
So we've been taking a risk here, sitting for more than 1.5 hours. Sitting is the new smoking.
So after this, I will get up and I will continue working on my standing desk with the Dreadnought.
Oh, excellent! What more do you do to keep in shape?
So I'm look after my diet now. So I'm kind of try to eat similar things like Brian Johnson does, because Brian Johnson he publishes all his basically what he takes, what his diet is, and what he takes as supplements and so on. So I don't do so much supplements, but I. Yeah.
Do you do any supplements?
To eat a healthy diet. Just vitamin D and K2 and omega-3 and like a multivitamin tablet and because my cholesterol was high, like 1 week ago, I switched to a vegan diet just to try if I can lower my cholesterol with just the diet, with the vegan diet. So I'm taking some more supplements now since 1 week because, like vitamin B12 and protein and some things, So that I don't get a deficiency when I'm eating vegan for 6 weeks now.
Do you do any extreme risk avoidance?
No, I think not. Yeah, that's often an argument that if you live like or if you don't age anymore and your life expectancy is like thousands of years, that you don't do anything anymore, right? Because you don't take any risks anymore. But I already think that we have the chance now to reach longevity, escape velocity, and to live basically forever. And I still take risks. It's probably stupid, but I'm still don't think about death most of the time or so, and I still get into airplanes or.
So, unless Peter, you have some more questions, I think we need to ask our standard question here: if there are 3 books that you could recommend that meant something to you.
Probably Ending Aging by Aubrey de Grey. It's like the Bible, right? It explains the repair approach and how we can basically, sort of aging and not die anymore of aging. Then I think, how's it called? Ageless by Andrew Steele. I think it's a very good overview over the field. So somebody who isn't familiar so much with the field, I would highly recommend this book to know what's going on in research and so on currently. And I would also recommend The Death of Death by Jose Cordero and David Wood. It's also a good overview over this field. And but that's already 3 books. So maybe also The Denial of Death, by Ernest Becker, to understand the underlying problem, why not more people are interested in this field.
Yeah, right. Yeah, we've had Aubrey and Jose on the podcast.
Thank you very much, Felix.
You're welcome. Thanks for having me again.